Hello, hello, and welcome to Be the Hero and Rescue Yourself with Kelly Fullman. Today I'm going to be talking about how social media plays a huge role in sex and human trafficking. And you're probably wondering why I have this young man sitting next to me. As you know, in my podcast, I talk about that I get to interview and have a good chat with some coffee and chocolate milk. With some of my heroes. And one of my heroes is my son, Reese Fullman. So Reese is, 13, coming up January, going on 30 sometimes, and is going to help me give his insight and kind of what he sees and how he kind of approaches social media safety. For someone at 13 years old, because I know what I need to do at my age and how I need to make sure I have your back, right, and protect you, but what are some of the things that you do? So we're going to talk about that today. So one of the things that I always, what we talk about is that the screen now gives kind of a hiding spot for these bad folks, right?
They can be 30, but they can almost make you think they're 13.
Right. So what a long time ago me and you used to talk about when you were little was what? Stranger danger, right?
And don't go for the free candy, or if they say help me find my child, my kid, or my dog, or like
go find an adult, right?
Or if a kid comes to you and says, "Hey, can you wait for my dad?" And then you search around and they find your car and they're like, "Here, I'll give you right back to the front," and then they can take you.
Yep. So those are all the things that I've had conversations with you since you were younger. But now things have kind of changed. You're getting into 13 years old. You're in what grade now? Seventh grade.
I'm just on Christmas break right now.
Right. And so a ton of your friends have social media accounts, right? Smartphones and social media accounts.
But the only social media account I have is for racing.
Right. And I monitor that one.
Yes, and my dad.
Yeah. So you don't have access to it at all.
No, I don't even have Facebook, so I can't even look at it. Right? So, yeah.
So, we used to talk to our kids about stranger danger and don't talk to strangers and all that kind of stuff. But now we're starting to see kind of a shift to where kids are being contacted by these predators and traffickers online. And a study from the University of Toledo and Human Trafficking Social Justice Institute in 2018, 58% of victims eventually met their traffickers. 42% who initially met their traffickers online probably will never meet that person face to face. So Texas is now number one in human and sex trafficking.
Because you can, it's because you go I-45, you go all the way down. You can go all the way down to Mexico, and that's where the cartel is, and they'll do lots of stuff.
Well, what else? But also we're starting to find girls that are just being trafficked in Dallas, right? Yeah. Or just being sent to Oklahoma. Or you've got I-20 that takes you straight to Louisiana. So
because Texas is growing so much that a lot of people are coming here because there's a lot of people that are like a lot of new kids that never really know about it because their parents don't talk about it because it never happened to them.
Gotcha.
Or they never came in experience with it.
Okay. So I've been working with the Denton County Sheriff's Department for some time now. How long have I been working with them now?
Since I've been alive.
Since you've been alive. So 12 going on 13 years.
Yep.
And what do we do with the Impact Program, bud?
It's for teens that have gotten in trouble, broken the law. But instead of sending them to jail, they get one chance to redeem themselves and try and not get anything on their record, so they can get better jobs and learn out of their mistake.
Right. So this program is how long?
About 4 hours.
It's about 4 hours.
Starts at 6, goes to 10. About once every month on Wednesday.
Yep. So we've been working with them. So these kiddos are anywhere from runaways to skipping school to theft, drugs.
None of the big stuff.
Yep. And bullying, getting into fights at school,
talking back
to their parents or teachers.
The principals or the deans, they send them there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have the
SROs in
The
them.
SROs, and then sometimes just the parents. They're fed up with their kid.
Mm-hmm.
They've been yelling at them, and they're just like, "You gotta go.
Yep.
You need to be switched differently."
So there's been a couple of pretty sad stories that we have discovered,
Yeah,
and quite a
especially one
few.
here recently.
Yeah,
Very big one.
a very big one. And we can't tell the details of it because it's all under investigation. But I will tell you that it all started with social media. She was a very young lady, and she was contacted through Instagram, and someone messaged her. And her mom is a single working mom working nights, and she was trafficked, and she was coaxed to leave her home, and and taken advantage of. So here's some of the things that these predators will do. They will recruit young children and get them to think about sneaking out, send pictures of their private parts.
Like they will tempt them and say, "I know where you live. I will kill someone you like. If you don't send me these pictures, I will hurt you. I will do anything."
Sometimes that's what they do, but then other times, what else do they do?
Uh,
What else?
they make them think there's somebody else.
Yeah, they make them think there's somebody else. Like who? Like a young,
Like young boy, or maybe they make a fake account and like they tell, she searches that up and then it's a fake account of their boyfriend.
Yep.
And they're like, "Oh hey," and then they start attacking, and then they're like, and then they figure out when they go back to school about their boyfriend that they don't have one. They're like, "But then who is this?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Okay."
So my question to you, Reese, is, I always ask this question in the impact program, which really concerns me, is I ask all of my parents at the program, how many of you actually have the codes
To your phone.
to your kids' phones? And out of about 15 kids that are attending the program, 10 to 15 on average,
About 3 to 4 of them the parents know.
Maybe, yeah.
Or some of them think they know the code, but the kids automatically change. And
Yep.
like, there's no restrictions. Unlike my phone, I use the same code as I do on my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, like, my code's not easy. It's something that we all know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's very common. But
so I know your code, so I can get into your phone, but also talk about the restrictions that I have on your phone.
It's like people on my bus. We were coming back from a game, and I decided to bring my phone because it was boring. It was an hour drive because I was in Lake Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know, it was little.
Mm-hmm.
And people start bringing their phones, and it was a long game. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna bring my phone. Well, on the ride back, I'm on my phone, and people ask me, "Hey Reese, can you search up porn?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "You."
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, I can legit just go like admit you to the SRO.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, I have restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
And number four, I'm not that type of person.
Good for you. But the restrictions are to protect you also, right? What else have you learned? So I know that we talk about sending inappropriate pictures of yourself at this age. What could that lead to, Bud? Sending inappropriate pictures of yourself at this age?
It could be like a WASP. What was it called?
It's a child pornography distribution.
No, but like, what are the people that do those raids and like they'll go online to can't be a fake person?
Mm-hmm.
And what are they called?
A SWAT team?
No, not SWAT. It's like they go after like forever. And then they go in.
Right.
Have to do an investigation. Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but like that, like you could be sent. You think you could be sent to some person, but really they could be the police.
Mm-hmm. So if you are even underage and sending inappropriate pictures of yourself to your friends or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, that's considered child pornography distribution, and your child could actually have a felony on their record.
And they couldn't get a good job.
And then be listed as a child predator. And as they grow up, that record stays with them, correct?
And you can go online and search it up too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there you are. There's your picture and there's your face. And what can you not do? You will never be able to live next to a school. You'll never be able to work anywhere near a school. And do you think any of your other kids' families want their kids coming over to your house and hanging out? No. So these are some of the things that parents really don't understand and need to start making sure that they start to monitor and look at their kids' social media accounts and look at their phones.
Because like some kids, they like some of the kids they will just block their parents, but then they're following other people on that they know that their parents know them and following their mother or father,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll just then those people like they got a page, and then their parents will go like, well, I didn't know he's not supposed to have it, and they search up and like, well, to me he doesn't have a page. Then they'll go get their kid's phone and
There it
they'll
is.
figure out that they blocked them.
That's why it's so important to have access to your kids' phones. Yep. So, what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself safe? Because, I mean, you have what, one social media account? It's TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But I don't. I go on there and mostly I don't post very much. My intentions really are to post like me racing my race car
Mm-hmm.
and just stuff
Goofy
like
stuff.
yeah, like just funny stuff. But I'm not gonna get like just like show my body
Mm-hmm.
or show like
Mm-hmm.
my private parts on
Mm-hmm.
there or yeah, just like not. It's just like act like
And
a
who do
fool.
you follow? You follow a
I
lot of.
follow a lot of like just creators that are either dogs, because dogs can't really be inappropriate. That's very hard for a dog to be inappropriate unless
You got to be careful of the
yeah.
owner. Mm-hmm.
But or like the mascots on a football team,
Mm-hmm.
or
Who's your favorite mascot?
The bull from the Texans.
Mm-hmm. Houston Texans.
Uh-huh. Toro, I think his name.
Mm-hmm.
And then like just friends.
Like friends that you know.
Or cool, like there's this one page that I thought was actually pretty cool, and kind of how I want to set mine up was this guy that takes video of mud bogging
Mm-hmm.
and posts it on TikTok. I'm like, dang, that's somebody I want to follow.
Mm-hmm. So,
or family members.
right. So, not just on social media accounts, but also you like to play video games. So, like Forza and some other things.
Forza Horizon 4 and Fortnite is one big one.
Yep. So, how do you keep yourself safe when you do have access to live?
Xbox Live, yeah.
Xbox Live.
Or if you have a PlayStation, just period, just you have it live anyway.
Right.
You just don't. When you make your account, you don't use your name,
Mm-hmm.
and unless you know that person and they have specific things in their username
Mm-hmm.
that is like special to them, then you really don't know what it means. Like I have 4 numbers on mine that to me mean a lot of stuff to me. But to some other person, it might mean just, he's just got some random numbers on there.
Because I remember this past summer, you were talking to someone, a young kid from England, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I heard you, because I could hear, I mean, all of his technology is
I don't have any headphones. At that time, I didn't have a headset.
Right.
But on Xbox Live, so I was playing through my TV.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got a headset from one of my friends he gave it to me, and then my mom can't hear what I'm saying what their other people are saying.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But still, how do you protect yourself?
I don't tell my real name.
You don't tell him your real name.
What
else?
Until it was after a month,
and
then I actually got to know him and know that he was a kid,
a real kid.
And so I'm like, I'll share just my name, but I won't share my whole name. Just share my name.
And you don't share where you live, right? Okay.
But I asked him because he had an accent. He's like, England.
And he said England, so he was protecting himself too, right?
I said around Texas area, and you're really hard to. Texas is huge,
big. It is.
So it's hard to pinpoint unless you have a tracker.
So what is some of the advice that you need to give parents out there to protect their kids on social media?
Just don't use unless you know that.
Parents, advice to parents.
Like tell you if you get your kid something, I would set up their account for them. They can change their name and everything, but I would try to put a lock on that.
And why is that important?
Because it could just lead somebody into enticing you, and especially my picture. Like if some people put pictures of what they look like on their TikTok, you'll see that you see anybody's faces really unless they cover it up on any cover picture, but on Xbox Live, you have a picture that people will see on your icon when you're chatting with them. And sometimes it's people's faces or other people's faces, and then they might know that person, which they can ask you what this person is. And
so what? The other thing is you have a story of a young lady that you know that
from one of somebody else I know.
Right. So tell me that story. I mean, without using names, because we don't want to use any names or anything like that. What happened and how old is she?
So we were all on a group FaceTime,
Mm-hmm.
and so we were talking, and all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, you want to know something?" I'm like, "Sure." She's like, "Well, about a few years ago, she was on Omegle, and she was talking
Omegle.
Omegle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's where you can just like push like type in certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and you can talk to people and video chat with them,
Mm-hmm.
but she was talking to somebody, and he had his camera covered up, but he was like, "Hey, let me see your private part."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Okay," and she picked up her cat and she showed her cat, and showed him her cat's private part, and it's kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, and then she said, "Go away, you pervert," and she hung up.
Right. So that's good, but how many young girls actually know that? And
Not many.
Not very many. So some of the tactics that some of these traffickers will use, they will try to build rapport with the kiddos. And when you have kiddos that are putting what did we talk about earlier, putting their whole life out there on social media, right? And not keeping private things private. So some kids will put everything on social media. So they'll say things like, "Nobody gets me. I'm sick of being single. I'm so ugly," or asking all the time, "How do I look?"
Or searching up on the web, "Am I ugly?"
Right? Or "My life sucks," or "She's not my true friend," or "My parents hate me," or "Don't trust me. I'm being treated like a kid," or "I need to get out of here." So some of the responses of some of these traffickers will be, "I understand you." Right?
I know how you feel.
I know how you feel.
But they don't call them. They only text them because they don't, and they act like they're a 13-year-old boy or girl.
Or you're beautiful. You should be a model.
And like, "Here, I'll help you be that model. I got lots of money. Meet me at the mall, buy you dresses, and we'll take photo shoots."
There we go. Yep, that's some of the things. So,
unless they're a really popular person and y'all are both like
but you bring a kid, you bring your parents with you, because 9 times out of 10, that's not the fact. If you're not with an agency, no one should be contacting any of your kids via social media at all.
On Facebook, that's why you would email them or call their phone number if you know what their phone number is.
Yep.
Or if you go like track down their address and you go knock on the door.
Yep. So I will tell you kind of a scary story. So you just told a scary story about
Scary/funny story.
Right, but still, it's scary because she was approached a couple of years ago, and how old is she? She's 11 now.
I think she was like 10 when it happened.
Right. So, I mean, it's happening as young as 10 and 11-year-old kids.
Even younger, too.
Even younger. So, back in 2012, when I was working as a director of admissions for a cosmetology school, I had one of my admissions advisors come to me panicked one time because her daughter came up missing. And I remember she was having lots of issues with her daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Her daughter was on social media and Facebook specifically talking about how much she hated her life, she hated her mom and all the rules that she put on her. And this guy approached her through Facebook, and she left to go meet this guy and one of her friends.
Oh, Lord.
And so she came to me saying, "I can't find my daughter. All I know, and the only reason why I know she's alive, is because she's still posting on Facebook, but her pictures have become more provocative," which is really scary. So she had to enlist the police department and the sheriff's department to try to find her daughter, and she was trying to pinpoint where she was, and they ended up finding her, and she was held up in a apartment complex in Carrollton Farmer Branch, and inside of an apartment complex in an apartment, and by these couple of guys who were planning on
raping her,
selling them.
Yeah.
Okay. And her daughter has a heart condition, so a spider had bitten her on the arm and started getting infected, and if that had gotten into her blood, she would have died. So there's a lot of things that these traffickers do to entice them to come. And then how they keep them is they use scare tactics, like you talked about. Scare tactics like, I'm going to hurt your family if you leave, or I'm going to tell everybody what you've done already and embarrass you, and you'll never, nobody will love you after they find out what.
I'll find you and I'll kill you if you leave.
So here are some of the things that you can do to keep your kids safe. Number one, be involved, right, Reese? Like, be involved. Parents, be involved. Also, there are secret apps on your kids' phones, like Calculate, and I'll actually name out, and I'll put these on my website to show you guys some of these scary apps that kiddos are using. So if you've ever heard of things like Whisper, Scout, Grinder, Omegle, Tinder, Chat Avenue, Chat Roulette, Wishbone, Lively, Musically, Pal Talk, Yubu, Kick, Not, Hot or Not, right? Down, Tumblr, Fortnite, Minecraft, and then there's the Calculate one.
And then
WhatsApp.
Because that's what, like, that people were going on the WhatsApp, and these people were telling them, that they should kill themselves. And for about 3 months, I actually didn't play Minecraft because these people were like killing themselves.
Yep.
Because the people were just telling them, you don't deserve to, you don't need to live, you just need to die, you need to kill yourself.
Yep. So here's the deal, parents. One of the other scary ones is the one that you can actually hide.
Is the
Calculate. So it is a where is it?
Yep.
Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Calculate. It's a secret app that allows users to hide photos, videos, files, and their browser history. So
basically they can go in there and they could go incognito, basically.
So you don't even know that they have, but you think it's a calculator.
Because maybe they delete the calculator app and they got a new calculator app.
So parents, what can you do to protect your kids? Ask questions, educate yourself, and educate your kiddos. And it's kind of scary to talk to you about these kinds of things. And because for a mom, it's embarrassing to talk to your son about.
But we do. Because
Why?
We're trying to keep you protected.
Right. Because you're too young right now to sniff out a bad guy. Because the bad guys sound like nice guys.
Yeah.
You can better sniff them out because why?
Because y'all been talking to me and I know.
And because you know. So get the codes to your kids' phones. Educate your kids and educate yourself.
And put restrictions on them.
Put restrictions on the phones.
And a lot of restrictions.
And a lot of restrictions.
Especially on, like, even put restrictions on YouTube, because maybe they want to keep YouTube, but I would put restrictions on YouTube too.
Yeah, so they have the kids restrictions where they can only look up kids channels.
Or just go get kids YouTube.
Kids YouTube. So those are some important things to do. And also, there are other ways that you can go educate yourself. So like here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Trafficking 911, their headquarters is located here in Addison, Texas. They're an amazing resource for getting educated and understanding what happens and how these guys groom these young kids, girls and boys, to get into the sex trafficking industry. If you see anything on your kids' phones or your kids approach you and tell you that someone has contacted them, please call the authorities immediately so they can start trying to track down and find these groups of people, right? So they can get the bad guys. Because that's what they do, right? And also there are tons of courses and tons of things that you can get on the internet, either through your local sheriff's department or your police department, and take some classes to educate yourself and help arm yourself with the information you need to protect your family and protect your kids. So I want to thank everyone for listening to this podcast today, and I want to thank my son Reese for coming on with me and giving me some insight from a teenager's point of view. Oh my God, I have a teenager in my house next month. But I appreciate everything that you do, and even I know that you educate some of your friends on how to be safe on social media as well. So thank you so much. You're one of my heroes. I appreciate it. And thank you for joining us, and be sweet, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast, Be the Hero and Rescue Yourself with Kelly Fullman. If you enjoyed listening to my podcast or watching this YouTube video, please follow or subscribe to my channel and walk with me through my journey of celebrating my very own heroes and an opportunity to learn the valuable lessons they taught me over the years, which allowed me to gain the courage to wear my very own cape and be the hero of my life. You can also follow me on Instagram at K Fullman, that's KFUHLMAN, at Facebook, /K Fullman1, or on LinkedIn, Kelly Fullman MBA. Also, please leave your comments below because I see feedback as a gift and it will guide me on how to help you gain the courage you need to rescue yourself. Be sweet, y'all. Thanks.